Hello, guys. Uh, Good to have you here again. So, for today, we are going to see how we can start practicing PHP code. Now, first of all, let's get started with PHP. And there are different versions of PHP that you need to know. So, the current versions being supported are PHP 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5. Now, the older versions are no longer supported by the community and lack security update, posing significant risks. So it is advisable that you try as much as possible to use the latest version, in fact, the supported version, so that you will not encounter any security issues in your application. Now, here is the now you can always access the online documentation so that you can learn more about PHP. Like for instance, now coming to php.net, php.net. You click on php.net. This is the official website of PHP. That you can see everything that you want. If you want to look at the manuals, manual, and then you will now be able to see all the manual that you want, different function of list and different aspect of it. You want to see how you can implement certain things. So you can always come down. If you want to look at the info, PHP info, you can now say PHP info. Now you can now see the info PHP this, PHP this, and 8. So you, depending on, you can actually know the version of the PHP that you have installed on your system. So if you want to install PHP, you can come to PHP install so that you see all the install stuff. So it shows you the instruction and configuration, how you can actually install PHP on different platform. All right. So that is that. So now let's see PHP with HTML. Let's see, you can actually put PHP anywhere in your HTML and save the file with the PHP extension. Example, index.php, form underscore process.php, etc. Now let's see how, like what we have here now. You find out that this is PHP. You start with PHP with less than sign, question mark, PHP, that is the delimiter, and then you echo. So echo is the language. Then you find out that this is before HTML tag. This is after HTML tag, like what you see there. So now let's see how we can actually demonstrate this in our code. Now, before you start using PHP, first of all, you have to start the server, depending on the server that you want to use, either XAMPP or WAMP. So now I will now start WAMP server. Let me try and make use of WAMP. So I will now click on here. I'll say I type WAMP. When I type WAMP, it brings out this for me. So I will now click on it to start. Click on yes. So I'll wait a little for it to start. As soon as it starts, I'm going to see, you see, you have started. So this is a red icon. You wait for the green icon to show before you start. So, let's wait a little. Start, be patient for it. It show yellow, orange. Show orange. So let's wait. It show green. See that for me that PHP is ready to start with. So we now come to, you know that we have to create a folder in our WF directory so that we can actually use it. So we can come to drive C and look for WAM here. I look for WAM, and then I will now look for W. So I will now create a folder here and call it this the folder I created that time and call it what? PHP training. Get a folder. Then I will now go to the VS Code. VS Code. Then I will now start my VS Code here. So I will now say I want to bring out that folder. I click on open folder. Then from there now I will now go to I now go to one, look for one. Yeah, I'll click on one here. Then I'll click on W. Then I'll see the folder. I click on the folder and click on select folder. So it brings out the folder for me. There is nothing in it here. Yeah, I trust this. I always trust it. So there's nothing here. I close this one. So it has brought out the folder. I don't have anything here. So what did I do? I'll now come down here and click on here to create new file. So I will click here and then I will say index.php. I press enter. You find out that it has now brought out the index.php for me. So I now start with PHP with this less than this PHP. So I now say, okay, fine. I want to echo it. So I say echo, echo, then this is echo 42. Now this is now close it with P. So here now is this is before HTML. Okay. So this come before HTML. The file. So first of all, you have to now generate so before so you have to close it. You have to close the PHP so that you can now. So you have closed it now. So you have to always open it, delimiter, and then close it so that you find out that okay, this is all about PHP. Now, let's say we have it here, we have another one here. This is tag. This is after HTML. So we now open PHP, echo 42. Then we can now close it. So now we also have another one. So this is in between. You can now do it in between. So in between. This is in between HTML. So you can answer PHP. So what I'm trying to say that what this simply means is that you can write PHP anywhere within HTML. So yeah, now this is so we now close it now. Now let us run our code. For you to be able to run your code, you have to go to the browser. So we come to the browser, yeah, and then you know that we are using port 83. So we say localhost port 83 slash PHP. You know the folder part PHP training slash index.php. And then we now click. You find out that we have successfully written a PHP code, and here it is showing. So that takes us to, like, for instance, now I'm trying to know that PHP can come in between, PHP can be anywhere in HTML. So we have now seen how to actually write a PHP code, the first time that we have written a PHP code. All right, so that will take us to now, let us now look at a variable and constant, what a variable is and a constant, so that because we will be making use of it very, very often. Now, variable, this is a placeholder in programming that holds value temporary, that is dynamically in memory. So it has the ability to change. It changes every time. Now, variables are very easy to define in PHP. It does not have script type. It knows the variable type when you assign it. So to create a variable in PHP, you start it with $sign. That is, you use a $sign to create a variable. Note that variable changes and variable name must not start with numbers. Take note of that. It can start with uppercase, lowercase, underscore for special variable type. Now, let's say, for instance, and this is a variable. So this is how we define a variable. Introduction to PHP. Now, the value of the variable can change anytime. then we can echo it with this. So when naming variable, you are not to include space, else it will flag error. So take note of it. So there are different naming convention in variable. We have the underscores. This is an example. We have the Pascal case that in which the you in each the each of the initial is in uppercase. Now we have the camel case in which the first initial is in lowercase, and then the next or the subsequent ones are in upper cases. Now let's see how we can create variable. We come to our PHP. So we will now create another file and call it let's say training, let's call it training variable, training variable, variable.php. So now we have that one. So we now generate our code here, PHP. Okay, so we now start so now let's say we have here now start dollar sign, say dollar sign. So you now have something like that, dollar sign, title, title, title equals to PHP. So now we have something like description, title equals to PHP. Then we have description, description equals to training with PHP. Okay. So next now, we now have the keyword. We just have something like keyword PHP 20. Now we now have something like, let's say, auto. Now, auto, auto is, you say, you can say call Umore or Umore. Okay, so now, uh, well, so now let's look at other variable. We say first name, first underscore name equals to Paul. Then say last name, last so last name equals to Moren. Then middle name, uh, middle middle name equals to Oluwafemi. So now if you look at here now is here is uh, underscore naming convention. This here is a camel case naming convention, and here is a Pascal naming convention. You understand? Oh, before now, I supposed to have explained some things to you concerning comment. You know, this is example of comment. It shows here in this line it's not executed anywhere. Like we have different types of comment. We have the single line comment, single line comment. Now this is example of single line comment. Either for me now, what does comment mean? Comment simply means this is the line of code that is not executed by the interpreter. It's not executed, but the main aim of comment is to tell you what a particular block of code is doing. Like for instance, now by the time you start writing your code, you understand, and other people will be looking at your code, other programmer. So the point is that you might not be there, but with your comment, when a programmer pick a particular block of code and then go through your code, you'll be able to know, okay, this function is for this function is for this. So it will guide the person. So we also have what we call multiple comments. You see, multiple lines of comments. Yeah, it's multiple lines of comments. So this is an example of multiple lines of comments. So from year to year, will not be executed by it will not be executed by the by PHP preprocessor. All right, so now we have now looked at sample of how to declare variables. So all these are how to declare variables. So we have looked at how to declare a variable. Now, if you want to echo, you can now say, okay, let's print it out. Say echo title. So we can now say echo title. So it will now echo title for us. You see, okay. So yeah, he has echoed the title for us. So we need to change this so that you can actually see it well. Change the color to white so that light. Okay, fine. So that you can actually see the code well. So it's echo title now. So I can now say echo this. My name is. So you say first name, first underscore name. So we are using, this is an example of example string interpolation, string interpolation. So my name is Paul, first name, Paul, then last name, middle name. So that's, I am I so I put the description. So now description service. So now, so we can actually put a break here. So break here so that it will break your quotes. Okay, so my name is Oluwaseun Paul. So I am. This is for PHP. You see, it's just trying to use this to actually print out this now. All right, so my name is middle name, first name. Sorry, the first name. Paul is not here. So why is Paul is not there? So we now look at it and then say, okay, the first name is not correct, so we now correct it. So he will now show it there. All right. So that is that. So that is how to define a variable. We have now looked at how we can actually define a variable and different types of variable. So now we want to now look at constant. What is constant? Constant is a variable that does not change when you define it. So it doesn't change. It's a variable that does not change. So when it is defined now, constant is a variable that does not change. So it is defined with the keyword define. Like for instance now. So now let's see how we can actually make use of constant. Fine. So we now have say define, have it here. So the constant might be, so you have title, title. Yeah, so so this is the, this is PHP fundamental one. We have PHP fundamental one. So now we now say echo uh, right. So echo title. Fundamental one. Yeah, I didn't put this thing here. I needed to close this with comma. So now let's say we have define define uh, three. So we have this, one, save it, and then we can now have it here now. Yeah. Okay, so now if you look at it, I find out that we cannot. This is that if we try to change it now, you find out that it's going to give us error. If we say now, say title equals to, this is another title. So echo, echo title. Title. You see what happens? It gives error. Now, what is the error? Syntax error, unexpected is, so you cannot assign another syntax to this. You understand? You cannot redeclare it because it's constant. So that is why it's giving this error. So all what we need to do, so that simply means that you can only you can only define and declare constant one and it doesn't change. So you cannot change constant. So that is what you need to know. So echo does not, so that is how we actually define our constant and then make use of it. So constant does not change. You shouldn't even try to change it. So that is all what you need to know concerning how to define a variable, how to define a constant. Now, I want you to understand something, that there is no strict there's no strict restriction concerning variable type in PHP, except you put strict, because the variable type already, the PHP already know the type of variable that you have assigned, the type of variable type, value that you have assigned to your variable. So it will now interpret it based on that. All right. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to look at now, we want to look at how to displaying PHP on the browser. We have actually looked at that anyway. There are two different ways to display PHP content on the browser, such as echo and printf. Now, echo does not expect parameter, while printf does expect. Example is, you have, like, for instance, now, if you want to use printf now, you can now say, now I will come now and say, uh, displaying content on a browser. So now we can so we have already seen how we use echo. So now let's look at printf. Printf expects us to have parameter. Like for instance, we said 20 plus 30, the 43. It give us what? So let's always uh, let's echo this with p. So, sure. Right, good. So now we have this now. So we can actually print out. So it give us what? 64. So let's say we want to use print to print all this. We can have something like this here. We can use a placeholder to print. We have something. You can use a placeholder. Let's say we want to print out this information, my name and the rest of it, using a placeholder. Okay. Uh, let's say we come down here and say uh, so my name is my name is Paul More. It's gonna be I am a PHP. Let's say my name is Paul Umar. So I am a PHP developer. So I'm a PHP developer. So developer, comma. So the title of training is you have another placeholder S. Okay. Is so comma the description is you have another placeholder here. Okay, so now let's say we now come down here, say my name is, so I put my come here first name, first name, then first name, then another placeholder is I am PHP programmer, PHP developer. Okay, so how is that? Then PHP developer. So PHP developer, and my training is so what is the training? That is the title. My training is so I will now put title here, and the description is put description here. So now let's see what happens. You see, so now this is a placeholder. This simply means string, that it should accept string, it should accept string, it should accept string, it should accept string. Then you put the name. So this is using what print. Now we can actually use what is called string interpolation, in which we have used it. This is string interpolation, in which we make use of a double quotation mark. When you use double quotation mark, you are trying to say that interpret the variable the way it is. But if you use single quotation mark, it simply means that print all these name as normal string, not to interpret it the way it is. So these are the two ways that you can actually print out things on you can display the content of PHP on the browser. So like for instance, now if we come down here, come to our browser here, this is our browser, and then come down here and say we have it like we say training Ivan variables.php. so it display everything for us here on the browser at the case level. So those are the way we can actually print out some stuff. I'll also mention something concerning comment in PHP. So comments are lines of code that are not executed by PHP, but explain what the block of codes are meant for. So it is a good practice to comment important section of your code for future readability and easy to debug by other programmers. So there are two types of comments. So we have the single line comment in which we have shown here, concatenation, and then the multiple line comments, example of this. So that is that. So as I've explained it there, so this is all aspect of comment that you need to know. So it is very, very important that you always comment your code for readability, for easy debugging in the future, because certainly you'll be having error in your code. So that will help you to actually work on it. Okay, so that is that. So now let's see, look at main data type. So let's see main data type in PHP. There are different types of data type in PHP in which we are going to look at now. So first we have the string. So this is the collection of characters enclosed in either double quote or single quote. Do you understand? So once you encode it in double quote, it therefore means that you are using what we call string interpolation. Like for instance, now we have something like this now. So let's say here now, you see PHP, PHP data types. So now, okay, so we have here. So now let's say here we have um, price, price, price. So this is a float quantity. We have this, and then we have the total now. The total can be this and that and gives you that. So so we now have let's say come here and then say yeah, we have price. So let's the price be, let's say price price 2 equals to, I don't want to put it in a string. Okay, so I have it like you can say 1,000, 1,000. So naira, 1,000 naira, I guess maybe. Yeah, 1,000 naira. So this is the string. And now we have you can now say text, text equals to the total price is this. You see now the total price is this. So this is what we call what? String interpolation. Let's continue. You see string interpolation. Now let's print it out. Print F, print F, total price, and then let's see what it's going to give us. Uh, server. So 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 the total price is all right. So now we have it there. So there was error. So now we find out that this is what this here is a string, and then we make use of a string interpolation by doing what? Putting this here. So it sees it as this. We can as well make use of concatenation. So now concatenation simply means joining two strings together. So we can now say string, concatenation, and then we say this here full name. And then we okay. You find out that here now we say first name, first full name equals to first name, then put this. So we use a dot to concatenate in PHP. We use a dot to concatenate. Then we can actually also do something like, yeah, let me echo break so that we know that we have break. So you can also do something like echo, then the total price is this. You see, this is string concatenation. You see, echo, the total price is. So instead of us using a placeholder or printf, we can actually use this one too. First of all, we have the price is, we break it and then we say dot the total price. So it gives us this. So this is how we can actually make use of what? Make use of, you print it out and then make use of a string interpolation and the rest of it. So that shows us how, so that shows us how we can actually, hello, are you there? Hello, okay. So this shows us how we can actually make use of a string. We have looked at the string concatenation. So now look at string concatenation. So you want to look at numbers now. Variables. So numbers are made up of integers and double. Example, scientific notation, whole number, fraction. Numbers are manipulated using arithmetic operators such as plus, minus, asterisk, forward slash, modulus, exponential, etc. Now let's see example like number. Here we have the number and the rest of it. So now let's see how we can actually make use of them. So now we have numbers, data type. Okay. So the number data type. So we have here number one. Number. Let's say we have uh, num one equals to this num num two equals to 300, three equals to 100. Let's say 200. 200. Now you want to find the total. Total equals to, we have the num one, num two, num three. Now echo the total. So this will give you the total of. So this is the echo. What is the total? Echo total. Okay, so the total is this. So total is this, and then should break it up. So, okay, so here is the total. We have the total here equal. So the total is 60. That is how to use a number. So we have the, now let's see, we can now also find a modulus or asterisk. Let's say exponential number. Let's say. So now this is okay, so we have here now, so echo. So by the time we save it, it gives us, there should always be break. So we use break so that it can break apart, okay? So now, what is exponential of this gives us this. So now 10 raised to the power of 2, that's exponential. So we can now say division, okay, using okay, division. So this might be now, division is, I always use this one too, division. So we have a um, upper, upper limit equals to 500. We have lower limit equals to 5. Equals to the upper limit. You have the upper limit, then the lower limit. So equal, say print f. So now we find out that I was saying that. So the division of this by this gives this, just like what we have done here. So print f gives us this now. So that is that. So now we also have what we call that word is called modulus. Modulus simply means to divide. So yeah, let's look at multiplication. Asterisk now. Uh, multiply multi multiplications of number there. So now we say we have okay, we already have first number. Let's say uh, multiply multiply equals to num num1 asterisk num 2, and then equal. So you see, it gives us that. So this is our num1 here, num2, and then we are asterisk. So you now want to find uh modulus. Modulus number modulus. Modulus using modulus. Modulus, that is now, modulus simply means when you divide a modulus, it gives you the remainder. So what is the remainder like? So you want to see how we can actually make use of modulus. Like for instance, now we have it here now. We have num1 modulus num2. So what is going to be the remainder? So num1 is what? Num1 is 10. Then num2 is num1 is 10, then num2 is num1 is 100, num2 is 300. So when you divide num1 by num2, so it doesn't take care of it doesn't take care of float or whatever. Either is equals to this or is 0. Let's say if we say num1 divided by modulus num1, what happened? It gives you 0. You see, because there is no remainder. But if you say, let's say num2 divided by num2, let's say num2 divided by num1. So what will happen? Num2 modulus num1. If num2 modulus num1, so what do you have here? Num2 is num2 is 300. So num1. So num2. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at we have it here now. Let's say first number. equals to, first number equals to 2, comma, second number equals to 2, comma, then first number, second number. So let's see. So first number, so you have first number. When you divide first number by this, what is the remainder? Uh, First number modules 4 modules. This is the remainder is 0. So the remainder is supposed to give us 0 when you divide this. So let's say second number. Okay. Let's say second number suppose here is 2. So now let's say first number, remainder suppose once you divide second number by this, the remainder is actually going to be 2. So now let's say first number, first number, first num to second num. Let's see. The remainder is 0 because it's equals to 0. It's divisible by 2. So that is that. That is how we can actually, we have been able to look at a different data type and how we can actually manipulate all of them. All right, so now let's see what we have here. Now we also have Boolean. Boolean, this is a true or false value which are manipulated using logical operator and or XOR, as the case may be. So now let's see, we also have a null and object data type. Now let's see how we can actually manipulate using this. Okay, so let's see, using Boolean data type. So this has to do with either it is yes or no. Let's say it's active, yeah. So now we have here active equals to true, inactive equals to false. Now, echo, if active, is this active, yes or no? So this is using a ternary operator. So this would now tell us if it's yes, active is true. So you give yes, yeah. Is it inactive? Inactive, yes or no? So it is no. So this gives us inactive. So another way that we can actually explain that, let's say we have something like, okay, so we now have here, we have here. So now this is a zip code. The zip code equals to null. This is null value, checking if a variable is null. So now, is it null? If it's not, echo this is null, else echo it is not null. Let's say I put 1 0 0 1 2 3 here, and then it's not null. So it therefore mean that there is something in it. So if it's null, echo is not, else echo is not null, then echo the value. It's not null, then comma, say here, here is the value. So you now echo it. So here is the value. So it therefore now mean that it is not null. All right. So that is what you need to know. So we are also look at the example using string interpolation, single quote concatenation, which display content. So we have actually looked at all that and how we can actually make use of that string interpolation and the rest of it. All right. So all right, so so now we want to now look at so the next thing we are going to look at now, we look at different types of operators, and how we can actually look at different types of operator. All right, so these are the different types of operator now. But before we go into different types of operator, let us look at escape character. Now, escape character, this is used, for instance, if you want to make use of a PHP key symbol, like you make use of backward slash used to escape that. Like for instance, now you want to use something like what we have here now. You have, yeah, you find out that you want to put this hello, how are you in a double quotation mark. Now that double quotation mark is known by PHP as a key symbol. So you find out that we will not be able to, if we don't use escape character, it will give us error. Let's say for instance now, we say using escape character, like here now, we have something like this here. Escape character. Okay. So like here now, put here now. Okay. So yeah, you see, we have escaped this one by using, by the time if we remove this, find out that it's going to give us error. You see, it gives error telling that, there is error here. Oh. We have to use escape character in order for us to escape it. So by saying doing it said, how are you? So, if I say now, say echo, string here. So I am a PHP developer, uh, PHP developer, and this now I'm training. So I I I train train people. I train people in PHP programming. I want this PHP programming. I train people in PHP program. So I want this in PHP programming to be in quotation marks. So what did I do? I have to now introduce my escape character here. Here too. I will now also introduce it here. Escape character here. Yeah. So now by the time I run it now, you see, it's showing there now. But if I don't introduce it, I find out that I will not be able to use it. That's how to use escape character. Now let's look at different operator. We have looked at different operator, and that's arithmetic operator in PHP. We have seen the plus, the minus, the multiplication, which is asterisk, the division, the modulus, and then the exponential. All right, so the next thing we are going to look at, we have the assignment operator. Now we use assignment operator to do what? To assign value. Understand? Use assignment operator to assign value to code like PHP. You have x equals to this. So when once you say now x variable x equal to variable y, we have been using that one. You see, another way of doing this that if you want to add up some stuff, value say x plus equals to this. So this add and assign, x minus add and assign. The same thing goes with multiply and assign. This one divide and assign, modulus and assign. So we can actually use them. Then we also have what is called incremental operator, increment PHP increment stroke decrement operator. Here we have plus plus simply means okay, pre-increment. So increment x by 1, then return x. First of all, increment, then this one post-increment, return x, then increment x by 1. So first of all, you return the x before you increment. Why the other one increment the x before it's returned? The same thing goes with decrement and post-decrement. So that is that. So now let's see how we can actually use that in our code now. So let's create another file here. Create another file and then call it training. So operators, operators.php. Okay, operators.php, and then press enter key. All right, we start with a PHP. Uh, let's close it. Server work. So let's say we have x equals to 1. It's a echo x plus plus. Let's see what happened now. Okay. Yeah. Echo x plus plus. Let's see what happened here. Uh, you see, it gives 1. Hmm? It gives 1. Uh, yeah. See, it gives 1, and then if I now say echo x now. Find out that x has turned to 2. I've not added any 2. You understand? X has turned to 2 now. Let's say echo, let's use so you have uh let's do that. Uh, let's echo. Yeah, yeah, x plus plus, yeah. Okay, so we have so we already have it here. So it's no need here. Yeah, increment it. So you have to. Okay, so we have here. Yeah, we have here. So you have 1, we have 2. If we now say, so this is the same thing as x equals to x plus 1. Let's say echo x again. So x give us 3. Yeah, even though we keep on echoing x, it was not going to change. Echo x is still give us 3. Let's say, yeah, coming down here, you say now, uh, x plus plus, and then click on echo x. So this will give us what? It gives us, there you go. So you give us 4. So that's how we use increment and we use increment. The same thing goes with decrement. Now, let's say if we have something like this now, plus plus, yeah. Let's see how the reaction is going to be now. It doesn't work that way. It gives you error because you cannot, it's not going to work that way. The syntax error, so it has to be in front of it. So that is that. Okay. All right, so that is that now. Okay, so that is what we need to do. We need to know concerning this. So we now look at a logical operator, how we can actually, there are different type of logical operator. You have the and, we have the or. So you have and, which is this and this. We have the or, we have the not, and the case may be. So now let's see how we can actually look at that now of logical operator. So logical operators. Okay. So, so H equals to, let's say, 25. Then gender equals to. So now we have if, we're now going to use if, it's a if age is greater than 20 and gender equals to male, you are eligible for military service. Else not eligible for military service. Let's see how this, have you seen it here? So now we have made use of, so when you are using and, both has to be true. You understand? When you are using and, both have to be true. Let's say, for instance, now, if we now put this now and say 17, you find out that you are not eligible. But if you are using something like or, let's say we have if, say, using or, or operator, logical operator. So here we have now, so it's gonna be here is gonna be okay, so here is gonna be so if this is this, or you say if h is greater than or equals to 18, or gender equals to female, eligible for this, else not eligible for this. So now let's see, not eligible for military operator. Now let's say if age is let's say 18, you see it's eligible. Why? Because this one, any of it has to be true. When any of it becomes true, so it works. Why this one? Both must be true. So this one, either of it must be true. So if either of it are false, so it will not work. So that is how we can use logical operator. Then we have not. Not simply means it is not. You understand? So if I say if not, if h, so if h not greater than this, if h not, eh, so if h not greater than this, you say if h not, it's not greater than this or this, then else equal eligible. If not, age greater than or equals to 18 and gender equals to male, equal not eligible for military service, else equal eligible for military service. So let's see. So eligible for military service. So if I remove this not now, it's gonna, let me remove this not. You see, not eligible. So the not negates it. Yeah, so that is that. So that is all what you need to know concerning the. So for now, we are going to stop at operator. So the next thing we are going to look at, we'll now look at mathematical function. So math function, you look at math function and see how we can actually manipulate mathematical function.